Hey guys, Joe here, Back to the Word, and this is the January 2026 Back to the Word Book Briefing episode, my bi-monthly content piece where I share with you guys books that are on my reading list or that I recently finished reading, some recent arrivals to my mailbox from publishers or books that I purchased and am excited about, and also some upcoming releases in the Christian book publishing world that I'm excited about tracking and want you to consider and put on your radar as well. I am going to do a special book briefing episode that's going to come out the beginning of February that looks through the whole of 2026 books that are coming out that I'm excited about, paying attention to, want to put on your radar, books that I'm budgeting for and planning to get and planning to share with you guys. So that's going to come out in February. We're going to keep this episode to the main types of content. So as always, major sections are timestamped below and helpful links are in the description of this video. If you have questions about the books that I'm going to share with you guys in this video, leave those in the comments, and also the link to other episodes like this is in the comments as well. So let's hop into the normal first segment, my reading list. These are books that I'm planning to read real soon, books that I'm currently reading, or books that I have recently finished. And first, I wanted to highlight a devotional right here, The Heart in Pilgrimage, a treasury of classic devotionals of the Christian life by Leland Ryken, published by Crossway Books. I'm just over halfway through this beautiful devotional ribbon marker, super excited for it and wanted to share it with you guys and recommend it to you. It was published in 2022. It's just about 192 pages. And what Leland Ryken does in this book is he pulls short snippets from 50 different prose classic devotional works. He has them in here. You read them up front from key figures of Christian life, Christian history, those sorts of things. People you would know, Spurgeon, Calvin, some others that you might even not know, like John Milton and other things like that. And he pulls all of them together in this. You read that short snippet, then you read Leland Ryken's kind of reflection on those as he unpacks what that short little prose devotional is all about. And then he moves to kind of a short Bible verse wrap-up summary at the end. And so I've really enjoyed this. And I've also enjoyed how it helps me actually read text better. It helps me read deeper. Leland Ryken is so good with language, and he points out things that you might have missed on your first read through. He actually encourages you at the very beginning to read through that classic prose devotional, read his kind of excursus or explanation of it, pointing things out, and then go back and read it again because you'll get more from it. And I'm learning to read better because of Leland Ryken and this devotional, and it's spiritually encouraging as well. Next up, I am reading through the Bible completely in 2026. That's my goal, using this book right here, this Bible, the ESV Veritas in black goatskin. As I'm reading through the Bible, another book that's on my reading list now, right here, God's Glory and Salvation Through Judgment, a Biblical Theology by Dr. James M. Hamilton Jr., or as he's also known, Dr. Jim Hamilton, Professor of Biblical Theology at Southern Baptist Theological Seminary. This book came out in 2010, and so he just walks through the Bible here, showing God's glory as in salvation through judgment as a key theme. So as I'm reading through my Bible this year, as I get to Genesis, I'm going to read his section on Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and so on. I love Dr. Hamilton's stuff with biblical theology. If this book's a little too thick for you and you just want to know what his approach is to biblical theology, specifically that Bible writers, so human authors of our Bible, inspired by God, were Bible readers, you need to pick up this short little work from Crossway, What is Biblical Theology? A Guide to the Bible's Story, Symbolism, and Patterns. This is an excellent little book. And then if you love this and his approach to biblical theology, you can pick up and read this one. I'm excited to make it through this, and that is the plan in 2026. Another one that's on my reading list, and I've published about this on my channel and Instagram already, is right here, Beakey and Smalley's Essentials of Reformed Systematic Theology. I'm reading through this 18 pages a week. I've done a reading plan, so I'll link to all those things. I have a blog post up And so that blog link, everything's going to be in this video description if you want to go check out what I'm doing. 18 pages a week will get you through this amazing one volume that condenses and summarizes Beeke and Smalley's 4 massive volumes of Reformed systematic theology. I'll also be doing a read and reflect series. So as I finish my monthly readings, going to be sharing with you guys some of the highlights every single month. So you can subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you'll hear more about my read through of this as I make progress in 2026. So let's move into recent arrivals. These are things that have arrived from publishers recently that were sent to me for review or I purchased. So the first up, this arrived from Crossway for review, and I was super excited about it. Volume 9 of the complete works of John Owen, The Death of Christ. From the time Crossway announced they were going to publish the complete works of John Owen in 40 volumes, this is probably the number one volume I was excited to get. The Death of Christ, which is included in this, and it also has another work as well that's included in here that's a bit shorter. The Death of Christ is the longer one, is John Owen's defense of definite, or what some have called limited atonement. It's kind of his biblical, polemical defense of that doctrine. I'm really looking forward to reading this. It's the original text, but it's been formatted for modern readers. What I love about these John Owen volumes is that they have an extensive introduction by a current day theologian and author. They give you an outline of John Owen's works, and then it's been formatted for modern readers. So a paragraph that might be 6-7 pages long in a different copy of Owen's The Death of Christ is broken up into multiple subsections with headings, but the original text is still there for you to read with great footnotes and things to help you understand what you're reading. And so this is an exciting volume. I would encourage you to check it out and to check out the other works Crossway has put out in the complete works of John Owen series. And I'm excited to get all 40 of these when they are finally all released from Crossway Books. The next one I want to highlight was sent to me by Reformation Heritage Books kind of as a surprise. They reached out to me and they said, we think you really would enjoy this. And I have already gotten into this book and I'm really enjoying it. Right here, Michael P.V. Barrett, Old Testament Introduction, Back to the Basics. If you don't know Dr. Michael P.V. Barrett, he has spent a lifetime studying the Old Testament. He is theologian in residence at Puritan Reformed Theological Seminary in Michigan, Grand Rapids, Michigan specifically. And this is an excellent service to the church. He goes through the Old Testament. He's given you brief overview things for every book of the Bible in the Old Testament based on decades of study. It has beautiful illustrations throughout, outlines, pictures, kind of blocks that help you learn different things. I am already feasting on this and learning so much from it. You should check it out. Published recently by Reformation Heritage Books. Next up, I had Baker Publishing Group send me 2 books for review that I wanted to share with you guys. I've been spending some time with these, really enjoying them so far. So first up is Essentials of Christian Theology by Nathan Holstein and Michael Seville. And this is Foundations of the Christian Faith. So this is 6 chapters working through key doctrines of the Christian faith, like the Trinity, humanity and sin, last things, salvation by grace through faith, those sorts of things. And so for every one of those doctrinal issues in this book, which is just under 300 pages, very readable, very approachable, they go through a brief overview of the points of unity and diversity with each one of those doctrines. Then they talk about explanations of key passages of Scripture. So that's their passages to ponder section. Then they have foundational truths to know. And so they kind of summarize those truths. Then they go false teachings to avoid. They call that their errors to avoid section. And then they end with practical application for your faith and life. So maybe you're not going to make it through a 900 plus page systematic theology in 2026, but you could pick this up and read it and enjoy it and even pass it on to other members of your church and other Christians in your family as well. Published by Bethany House, which is an imprint of Baker Publishing group. Another one they sent me that I've really been feasting on and enjoying is right here, The Dynamic Power of Obedience by A.W. So an essential Christian practice for bearing fruit. So these are sermons that have been collected together on different facets of obedience and obeying Christ and following God and following his word that were compiled and edited by James L. Snyder, also published by Bethany House. These are just sermons put together by A.W. Tozer, who was a famous pastor and preacher who was affiliated with the Christian and Missionary Alliance, and it was a Protestant evangelical denomination. So you want to check this out if you love Tozer, if you're interested in being encouraged to obey Christ, to follow him. This is an excellent book from Baker Publishing Group, Bethany House, to check out. I've been feasting on it and will eventually put up a review for it real soon. So you should check this one out. All right. Let's hop into upcoming releases that I'm excited about in the Christian book world. First up, The Minor Prophets, Seek the Lord and Live, this Preaching the Word commentary series. You're seeing the cover right there on the screen because I don't have this book yet, but I'm excited to get this as soon as it is published from Crossway Books. It's coming out later in January of 2026. It's going to be just over 1,000 pages. So why am I paying attention to this? Because it's the Preaching the Word commentary series, which is a great pastoral commentary series from Crossway, but it's also going to contain all 12 books of the minor prophets. So this is the book of the 12, as it's known in the Hebrew Bible, all in one commentary. So you're going to get a pastoral commentary on all of the minor prophets in one volume. That is great value. It's going to be just over 1,000 pages according to the Crossway website. And so I'm excited to get that. I love reading the Preaching the Word commentaries along with when I'm doing a deep study of a book. Yes, they are very helpful when you're preaching, when you're teaching a book of the Bible, but they're also super helpful for me in my personal devotions. If I pick up like Dr. Hamilton's Revelation commentary, I'm reading through Revelation on my own and I'm doing a deeper study of it, I can read some of the cliff notes of his sermons. For those who don't know, the Preaching the Word commentary series are only written by pastors who have preached through those books of the Bible. So they take some of those sermons, they address key issues, but it's very a pastoral, devotional, very sermon type of commentary series. And so I'm excited to get this one that's coming out from Paul R. House and Stephen M. Coleman that goes through all 12 of the minor prophets, and the series is edited by R. Kent Hughes. And so I encourage you to check that out and some of the other amazing entries in that series. Another upcoming release that I'm excited about is The Word is coming out. There's the cover right there. It's part of the Theology for Every Person series that's being done by Malcolm B. Yarnell and being published by B&H Publishing Group. It's coming out towards the end of February 2026, and it's going to be 416 pages. I have right here kind of the first volume that came out in that Theology for Every Person series, which is God. So what Dr. Yarnell is doing here, popular level theology for every person type of book here. In this book, he's talking about God the Father, but also theology proper, various types of disciplines of theology, studying who God is, made accessible for every person, for the people in your pew, in your church, in your family. You should consider checking this out, and I'm excited that the second part of that Word is coming out February 2026, and I believe there is a third one in the works, probably called Spirit, that's going to come out in the years ahead as well. I do want to say a brief note. Some people have been asking me on my channel, is there any updates on the new translation of Calvin's Institutes that is going to be published by Crossway? I have messaged them. I have yet to get a response. I do not have an update. If I do, I will share it in that February book briefing special episode that I told you about at the beginning of this video. But I'm really hopeful. My most recent update was actually from a year ago, January 2025. I talked to a Crossway rep. They said the translation process was done. The work was in editing, kind of footnotes and those sorts of pieces. They were doing page layouts and they were trying to make the decision. They already knew it wasn't going to fit in one volume that was going to be nicely bound. So trying to decide whether it was going to be 2 volumes or 3. I'm really hoping Crossway does a treatment like they did right here for Charnock's The Existence and Attributes of God for Calvin's Institutes. When this new translation drops, I am super excited for it. And so the moment I see it pop up on the Crossway website, which it hopefully might do sometime in February, or I get an update from Crossway, I will let you guys know. But I am super excited to get this new translation of Calvin's Institutes from Crossway in 2026, hopefully. I did a video on my channel about the versions of Calvin's Institutes and those sorts of things that exist, and I talked about the project Crossway is doing, so there's the thumbnail right there. If you want to go check out that video, I'll link it in the description if you want more details on what that translation is going to be and what they're doing with it. There it is right there for you to check out. So with that, videos I'm doing on these types of books I just shared about, reviews, those things are going to continue to come out from my channel as they are ready. So make sure you are subscribed, hit the notification bell so you don't miss it. Other book briefings, you like this video, you want to see other episodes I've done, that playlist is linked in the video description. And if you have questions about any of these books, please comment below and I'll try to answer if I have the answers to your questions. So with that, this is Back to the Word. My channel exists to equip and encourage you to read the Bible, good books, and have conversations that truly matter. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe. And until next time, continue to read, treasure, follow the Word. God bless, and I'll see you guys soon.